All right, well, the Young Turks special election day coverage, regular show, drop it. All right, we have somebody's lurking. Somebody's lurking. We have 1,000 things to tell you. I got promotions for you. I've got tweets for you. We've got a lot of stories for you guys from today. But we got to start with Ben Mankiewicz here and his board. Go.
Oh yeah. So first of all, a reminder: the board has been through it at TYT before. This is 2012. I don't know where 2008 went, but it's around. So this is the 2012 board. We got all of pull back a little bit there so we can get the full, or I'll raise it up there. So the blue numbers are states that we know Clinton's going to win below, and as they come in, we'll move them up.
Yeah.
Notice the
I have Hawaii in the toss-up category, but yeah.
You do? Notice, take it again, notice the asterisk on Washington. That's just because of that nonsense elector in Washington that she might only get two, potentially two, one definite and another there. And then Maine, there's the asterisk because there's another congressional district and another electoral vote there. You'll see the asterisks on the red states for Trump in Nebraska, where the same thing, there's a potential one electoral vote that could go to Clinton there. And then in the middle in green are all the toss-up states. And we have liberal use of toss-up states because we want to make it fun and dramatic. Yeah. And also you'll note that the green circle around Utah, the green circle everyone knows is meant to represent Evan McMullen.
Yeah, and
just to keep in mind that that's not going to go to Hillary, it's going to go to a Republican, but it might not go to that Republican.
Yeah, and note to self for future elections: green not a great color for the camera.
Oh, you know what? We can. By the way, by the time results start rolling in, I can do something about that. I can orange that up. I can black it up.
Interesting.
I like black,
but I'll need a moment.
So now, since you've got that up, let's go back and resolve the issue we started in hour one.
Okay.
Right. Now, we've already gone through 5 hours. It feels like 5 minutes to me. I swear.
Really does.
Like I feel like, what the hell? Where did the 5 hours go? But luckily, don't worry, we've got 7 hours left. Okay.
At least.
And we've got a member stream going on at the same time. TYTnetwork.com/join. So Ben, my 6 swing states were Nevada, Colorado, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida. So you have them all. You have all the ones. So you have Michigan and Arizona and Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I have Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, New Hampshire, Maine, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and the 2 districts. One electoral vote in Maine, one in Nebraska.
So you even have Wisconsin and Minnesota, which is, come on.
It just means that we can take them off a more fun part of the board.
Also,
and give them to Hillary Clinton. But yeah, I got you. We could obviously move those over to Hillary Clinton right now if you want.
It's okay.
Trump has campaigned in Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's campaigned there. Any
Any
state that vaguely, the loosest definition of swing state, which means Texas does not make it, but Arizona, Georgia, and if Arizona and Georgia make it, then Wisconsin and Minnesota also have to make it under that standard.
Really?
Yeah, and this election has been different than the ones that we've seen. I mean, look, let's keep it real. It's also very, very similar. Like Hawaii and Rhode Island are going to be blue by a freaking landslide. I saw this morning Trump's winning in Alabama by 43 points.
Okay, and by the way, another state that could be considered on either side, I don't remember, I think I put New Mexico in the swing state category because there's a couple polls that only has her up by 3 points. So
she's at like an 80% chance, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But also there was a poll, 2 polls earlier. That it's a tough state to poll. Alaska, oddly enough, super competitive. But then I saw a poll today. I think that he's up 14 in Alaska. So we have Alaska right.
They're Republicans, obviously very conservative, but they're not really Trump Republicans up in Alaska, I don't think.
Well, I don't know how we know that, but okay.
That's my feeling.
I feel like you did research on it.
It's like New Hampshire.
Okay. So, but the reason I say it's weird is because sometimes she'll be closer in Texas than Trump is close in Minnesota, right? And North Carolina becomes more and more blue by the day.
South Carolina, you want to find a poll where Trump's ahead by 3 in South Carolina? You can find it by a real polling organization.
Look, the demographic advantage that Democrats have grows every single year, right?
No, it doesn't. That's what Republicans say. No, it doesn't. Does not.
And in fact,
it's like me and Jimmy arguing.
In fact, I have a friend who says, like, hey, whatever happened to that stupid demographic advantage? I thought the Republicans were supposed to have no chance in this election. Well, it looks like that demographic advantage is real, and that's why Hillary Clinton is now much closer to being president, much more, like, I think she would have, if this was 8 years ago, the demographics of 8 years, I think we'd be in a lot of trouble. But 8 years from now, when North Carolina is solidly blue and Texas is teetering on the edge, and Georgia's slipping over into blue, and Georgia is slipping over into blue,
and Georgia,
and
not
Arizona,
a significant number of electoral votes.
And there are not equal and opposite states going red. It's not like, ooh, and Connecticut and Rhode Island go red. That is not happening, and it's not going to happen.
Except perhaps Ohio moving a bit from swinginess to,
no, that's true.
Red.
Very fair point. And on an important state, too.
And the reason
but that's it, though. That's the only one I have on the board.
And the reason it doesn't, and it might, is because the demographics in Ohio aren't reflective of the country. The state has actually gotten slightly whiter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, so if you're a long-time Young Turks fan, if you're wondering if every show from now on, Ben is going to have that board in front of his face, yes. Yes, this is the new look.
That's it's like Glenn Beck's chalkboard.
It was.
See the man behind the scenes. You see that? Right, running things.
The Jew behind the scenes
global
running things.
Special interest.
You're like the neighbor in Tool Time.
Totally
That's the other way of looking at it, right? Okay, and finally, before we get on to the stories and the tweets and all that, let us note John Iadarolla's new hairstyle. It's been 5 hours. No one's noted it.
I noticed. I didn't say anything. I don't know we're supposed to say something.
Yeah. And it's David Beckhamish.
Yes.
I actually think it looks great.
I didn't think about that. David Beckham. People like him, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, he's not a fencing star, so you
I'm
wouldn't
shocked.
know. But
Like, I posted a photo, and people, my head is this tiny in the photo. I'm like, how can you tell? This is literally, my hair grew for a week. And instead of buzzing the whole thing, we just buzz the sides. That's the only difference.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about John. I hate to say this. It's a little hunky.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Yeah, I feel like that's growing. Like that.
Yeah, totally. Like if you look at a picture of John from 5 years ago, I mean, no wonder nobody slept with him. Right.
Yeah, no.
Right. But like you look now and you think.
Now, 8 years ago, not so bad. I'd do 8 years ago, John.
Okay.
4 years ago.
Yeah, but like all of a sudden, Johnny Pie's a thing.
Johnny Pie's a thing, and he's like, you have to respect. He walks in the room, you gotta give him room.
Yeah.
See,
right.
I'm just waiting for the drop now.
No.
Okay, no, there's no drop.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay,
Oh, look, you're gonna say
I'll take it.
10 or 15 stupid things in the next couple hours.
And there we go.
So we'll have plenty of opportunity. And by the way, Johnny Pie also living up to his other nickname, Johnny Tie, the only guy in the.
Oh!
Even though I did poll the audience, Johnny Pie or Johnny Tie on Election Day, and 2 out of 3 said, no, don't wear a tie, you moron.
But nonetheless,
and I did it
he's his own
anyway
man.
because I'm not a Democratic sort of individual.
That's right. And super last comment on John's looks, which we've apparently spent way too much time on. John looks more Italian. I mean, his last name is Iadarolla, remember, right? John looks more Italian in pictures. John looks like, I don't know what you look like on video, or in person.
Yeah.
Every picture on Instagram, you look like the most Italian dude I have ever seen.
Interesting, thank you. Just to balance this out, because I have low self-esteem, so I have to do this. So I've been traveling a lot, flying a lot, and like you're a comedian, you fly a lot. Just jet lag is just, you're always tired. So all my pictures for several weeks on Instagram, people have been like, oh my God, John looks exhausted. And I was like, fine, I am exhausted. But we didn't go to the East Coast for this last episode. It was in Reno, and I slept a good 8 hours, and all the comments on today's photos are, John looks really tired. And I'm like, this is literally just me. I'm not tired at all. This is what I look like.
Chad, if your hair
Thanks.
If your hair grows another ½ inch, I think you could be the guy who fights the next guy in Rocky.
Drago!
Okay.
Okay, I'll take
All
that.
right.
I like that movie.
Andy Hanane writes in, the whole world is following the election day, and we here in Budapest are watching TYT. I like them because they say it as it is. Okay, I love that. I love our international audience. I love our American audience too.
After this election, in addition to creating more of an online community with all progressives, we need to give more love to our international viewers. I have some ideas.
So with you, yeah. Like people say, hey, you guys should do an international show. I agree. Yeah. TYTnetwork.com/join. Give us the ability to do that. All right, Captain Picard has written in, and he said, get the boy off the bridge. No, okay, he said engage. No, he said fire. No, he didn't say any of that. He said, LOL, watching all this old GOP primary videos, I remember how I looked forward to TYT primary coverage as much as Game of Thrones episodes. That's it, we should all retire. That is as high a praise as you can get online. So Captain Picard.
And
hats off to you, hair off to you as well.
They ended in a similar way: red wedding and Bernie not winning.
Do you have Trent, TRG19? Trent says my nickname should be Wilson, and he's showing the photo of just my eyes above the sign.
Wilson.
Nice.
No, Wilson, I'm sorry, Wilson. I'm sorry. I hope I don't say that at the end of the night.
This is how much of a child I am, I guess. When he brought out that thing, that little prop, I'm excited to see it filled out.
Yeah,
it's totally fun. We get to write it ourselves.
Props are fun. Yeah. All right, last one. Derek H. 1029 says, I wish we had California ballot initiatives. Instead, we're voting to add hunting to the Indiana Constitution.
To the Constitution?
Now you got to realize in Indiana, you got to be able to hunt. Yeah, of course you could hunt in Indiana. Of course you can. You don't have to add that to the Constitution. All right, by the way, no, you partly wish you had our ballot initiatives, which I hope we'll get a chance to talk about. We might literally run out of time on a 12-hour show, but I hope we talk about it later because we have some wonderful ones, including marijuana legalization. Today might be the day where we break their back. We break them like a boy, and marijuana becomes legal in too many places for them tonight. It's on 9 different states' ballot initiatives.
I voted against it.
Well, I was going to say,
I did. He was high. He didn't know what it said.
I want it to be illegal. It's cooler.
It's cooler when it's illegal.
But they're going to be able to deliver it soon.
I had to get it delivered.
No, go ahead.
Really?
Yeah. I give it to Jimmy.
I'm not kidding. Where am I going to get my cool cred from now, right? It's like, that's my thing. It's subversive to smoke pot. Now, when Coors starts selling pot, when Budweiser has their own version of a joint, it's not going to be cool anymore.
You know what it's going to be called? Budweiser's version? Budweiser.
Yeah. Oh, Budweiser.
I've heard your show's very popular. I think you're going to be okay.
I've also, heroin.
Yeah.
I'll have to switch.
Yeah.
So in California, we could also abolish the death penalty today.
Let's do that. I voted for that.
Yes.
Yep. Or we could speed it up. You can do either.
That is also on the ballot.
61 is the pharma.
Yeah.
A ballot proposition 61. If you vote yes on that, it helps it helps bring reasonable pricing to pharmaceuticals in California.
Bernie was here just 2 days ago speaking in favor of that.
Bernie's very pro 61. They have veterans groups, ubiquitous commercials all over the place. Every one of my videos, they have that veterans group saying vote against 61. But it turns out every veterans group that's opposed to 61 took money from the pharmaceutical industry.
No. I can't believe that. And we also have a prop here, Prop 59, to get money out of politics. I wish it had more force of law, but great, vote yes. You want to encourage people, vote yes.
Also, we could possibly finally ban plastic bags across the state.
No, and that's what I was going to get to, though, but you don't want
No, but here's the weird thing, is this is how stupid ballot initiatives gotten. We might be able to ban plastic bags while also forcing porn stars to use plastic bags in the same day.
Right,
Bang!
Right. I actually disagreed with progressive positions 3 times on California ballots.
Which ones?
Which ones?
Yeah, we'll save it for the show.
Okay.
This is the show. This is the show.
Well, when Anna's
We're doing the show.
Anna's going to go through all the ballot initiatives. I thought we were just
Who's
talking.
having this much fun? Right now, Corey Lewandowski and Wolf Blitzer are looking at each other like this. Okay.
No, Wolf's telling that elevator story. What are you talking about?
That's on CNN Online.
Yeah.
That's on their golden stream. Listen, what is the 3 progressive things you voted against? Just tell me, because I won't be here.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I can
Where would
remember.
you be?
I think that someo's going to replace me.
Because we'll keep rotating.
Yeah, you'll be here at some point.
But I want to know.
Going home.
I always vote with the smokers, and I know
no
a lot
tax?
of no tax on the smokers. Okay, all the smokers in the studio are like, yes. Okay.
I voted tax, but I think it's a reasonable argument to make.
I voted no on condoms. I've been voting no on condoms my whole life.
I don't think that's a progressive.
that's
not a progressive
yeah.
position.
Fuck that.
No, we all voted no. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, but no.
Progressives
online,
say no to porno.
Yeah.
No to the condoms.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
That is progressive.
But, okay, the progressive website that I saw was saying yes, make them wear condoms.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We also have to be consistent. I'm not going to force them to use something I won't use in my personal life.
Yeah. By the way,
you were making too many condom jokes.
Okay,
Wear
sorry,
condoms.
sorry.
You don't have to wear the condom, John, when you do that.
By the way, when are we going to vote on saran wrap? Dental wrap.
The dental dam?
Dental dam. Dental wrap.
Oh,
When are we going to vote on dental dam?
In porn?
Yeah. No, you got to wrap it up. You got to wrap it up with
why don't you
pork.
just put a picture of my mother next to the bed when you make me use a dental dam? Are you kidding me? I can't get a hard on with a dental. Anyway,
Be safe. Be safe.
We've had one, I think, one genuine star of adult films come in and co-host some shows, and Nina Hartley. You've done interviews with her. She's very outspoken on Twitter to say no to 61. There was an ad yesterday that maintained that. I think was it 61? I might have the number.
61, 60.
That's the
61 is the
pharma.
healthcare thing.
62
is the condom one.
Yeah.
I thought 62.
I think 60 is
61 is definitely the Bernie Sanders healthcare one.
Right.
Vote yes.
60.
There's billboards.
60, right.
60 is the condom one.
So, and she was suggesting that it would give viewers the right to sue porn stars who they saw did not wear them. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it was. But anyway, just that we have an occasional TYT host. She came on here for what the Flick did, Masters of Sex, which was really great to have her on. She's a very strong advocate for free speech in the country, and
Her and Sika.
but anyway, she's crusading against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so,
And by the way, I probably should admit this on Instagram. I follow several porn stars, all against it.
Is that right?
yeah. Okay. If freedom. Freedom isn't free.
No.
Okay. So,
It's not free.
okay. Anyway, I could go on and on. But we have 18 ballot initiatives in California.
Too many.
That's too many.
Like, it's insane. We have 2 different initiatives on
Plastic bags.
grocery bags.
2 different
Yeah,
ones.
2 different ones. It's insane. It's
The
insane.
first one you're supposed to vote no, and the second one you're supposed to vote yes.
And they
by
do
the
it
way,
on purpose
one-
to confuse you.
Yes.
One is funded by the Progressive Bag Alliance. Which side is that on? The deceptive side.
Yeah, it's not the one that's on the
I
progressive
feel like
side.
I might have done that wrong, although I had very clear instructions. How long did it take you to vote?
A while.
5 minutes.
Longer than Trump, as you're going to say.
5 minutes?
I voted fast.
I was in there longer than 20 minutes.
I just.
Oh, that's because I studied last night
I
for like an
studied.
hour.
No, I studied
some
right, but I had photos of the info but I still wanted to read the initial. Like I still was like, you know what? Let me make sure I was terrified that I'm like, am I going to vote wrong? Have I got the death penalty ones mixed up?
Yeah.
You know,
Prop 59, the one money out of politics, the one I care. Well, I don't know about most because death penalty is so important in marijuana. Yada. But anyway, I missed it. Like and I was like, wait, there was nothing in there. I literally like dabbed wrong. I was like, oh no, yes, I want money out of politics. Yes.
So I would vote. This is how long it took me to vote. By the time I got to 59, I was like, my wife's voting right next to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna vote no on this just to fuck Cenk. Right? and she was gone, and there was somebody else there.
And they're like, don't do that.
So you did not look over constantly and check your wife's.
No, I did
Trump.
not. I did not. They was like, where did
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I skipped the judges.
I voted judges.
Did you vote for the? Did you know who they were?
No, we got some. We
vote based on specialty.
got advice from a judge.
Really?
Oh, wow. Well, that seems biased.
So it seemed like I would always go with the one that would seem less of like a hard ass. But they were like, oh, gangs prosecutor, violent crimes prosecutor. They're all prosecutors. So I
No,
just
there were some apparently good ones, but this was from a very a progressive judge who
Okay, I wish I would have known.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let me know, is this bad? So usually I try to go by which is the more libby specialty to have, like a defense attorney as opposed to prosecutor.
defense attorney.
But sometimes they're both bad, and so I actually just voted to increase diversity, racial and gender diversity.
oh, really? You are a lib. I thought
And
about
maybe
it
they're
in
bad,
one
I'm
case.
sorry.
What is that? So,
I'll vote
you
for the
just
But there were
randomly
women, there was an Asian judge, there were Hispanic
Yeah, that's the
judges.
way
you
I go.
voted for the Asian judge?
I don't remember, I think so.
No, I was tempted to be.
Hang him, Lee.
My God, that's not right.
I was tempted to vote for the Vietnamese judge because I was like, how many
I
Vietnamese
think
judges
she's
do we have, right? But I was like, no, I don't know anything about the judges, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
okay.
I was irresponsible.
Yeah, and so I should have read up more like Ben did. Anyway, okay, so last 2 things before we get to the story.
I have by the way,
20 minutes in.
By the way, I have a video out. It's the Progressive Guide to the California Ballot Initiative.
Oh, really?
And so I have a video out right now up at the Jimmy Dore Show. What I did was I went to Jane Kim. She's endorsed by Bernie Sanders, so she broke down the propositions on her website. So I just went there.
Oh, by the way, we keep talking about California.
You were supposed to vote for the Vietnamese judge.
Is that right?
She's one of the judges.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Follow your live instinct.
if obviously most of you don't live in California. Wes Clark did a great video on TYT Politics about the most important ballot initiatives throughout the country. So go check that out on youtube.com/TYT Politics. Okay, we have a result in. I can't believe I haven't said it yet.
A result?
Hillary Clinton has won Guam.
Oh,
okay.
As Guam goes.
So goes no electoral college votes.
How does do you know the expression for Guam? It's got one of the greatest sayings for any state or territory.
What? No, I don't.
Guam, where America's day begins.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, America's day has begun with a Hillary Clinton victory. She won comfortably, 72% for Hillary Clinton. And Trump only got 24%. And then a socialist candidate got 4.22%, almost 5%. It's Emidio Solitisek.
I believe abortion completely banned in Guam.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, if you had just voted for the socialists, we could have changed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Later, we will for members only, we'll be having a debate about whether you're pro-Emidio or anti-Emidio.
Well, Ben, shouldn't you update the board? Territory, come on.
Okay. Hey, see, you mess around with Guam, that happens to you. Okay, and finally, look, we've got over 40,000 viewers on right now at the same time.
Hello.
Which to give you guys a sense of context, about a year ago, I had a conversation with a guy who runs a very large platform whose whole point is to do live streaming. Obviously, you'll see, I don't want to give away the person, the name, the platform, etc.
Eric Schmidt.
Larry Page. No. Okay. His name rhymes with Buckerberg. Anyway, so they never had 40,000 concurrent viewers at any time for any show on their entire platform. Okay, so you guys are amazing, but can I see 100,000? Okay, it's election night. You're crazy. It's election night. You got to go tell everybody.
Is that view I see?
Is that view I see? Let us whisper of a view. Yeah. Okay, so if we get to 100,000, we're going to start giving away crazy stuff. We're giving away Edwin, our stage manager. Okay,
he's great. You'll love it.
And seriously, if we get to 100,000, which I understand is difficult, but we're going to give away 100 TYT caps. Okay,
they're good.
These are not even in the store. If you go to shoptyt.com, you'll get a lot of things. This one are not. This is a special edition. They're not even in the store, but we'll give away 100.
By the way, that hat has a special power that if you wear that and walk around whatever city you're in, people will fist bump you randomly.
I'm not kidding. Because they're like, hey, TYT, you watch TYT. Yeah. It happens to me all the time. You watch TYT? Oh, shit, you are TYT.
If you want to get through airport security faster, wear TYT gear.
Oh, the TSA guys.
Every TSA person watches
TYT. Everyone.
Really?
So weird.
Yes.
Higher percentage recognized from TSA.
I've had a guy who, after feeling me up, said, I love the show, man.
He should have said it during.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Did he feel you with the back of his hands or the front?
I get a lot of...
to be fair.
I get a lot of, what's with Jimmy? From the TYT. But look, it's just a quality hat. It fits well on the head. It looks good. It's got a nice curve. It's got a low slope. It's one of the few products that Cenk didn't design, and it looks good. And if you get this one, it's actually been worn by me.
And we have exactly 100, so you might get this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so share away, man. Sharing is caring. Let's do a share package here. Share on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, share on YouTube, embed, send the link. Family, friends, Randy Gonzalez, send them to everybody. Let's get everybody here. We're super excited about the election. We're going to give you the results as soon as we have them, including Guam. And then finally, shoptyt.com does not have the hats, but it does have this super cool poster, which is also limited edition. We're doing right now called Defend the Land, Renewables, Not Pipelines. If you've got that, Jesus, let's see. There's only 50 posters signed by the artist, absent, and 2 posters are going to new members that sign up today. Oh, we're gonna pick that randomly. Okay, tytnetwork.com/join to become a member. Portion of the proceeds go to the camp that's there. Okay, and you could find out. We'll have a link so you can find out how to help the water protectors, and it's 10% off today, and $30 gets you free shipping. Okay, that's what I hear.
Just for fun, we actually have some actual election results.
Yeah, from Indiana?
From 3 states, Indiana, New Hampshire, and Kentucky, all with less than 1% of precincts reporting. So they're a little meaningless.
Here comes Bernie.
But they're all bad news. Let's start with Kentucky because we don't care.
Oh, Kentucky.
73-25 Trump.
Okay, have Kentucky. Who cares?
Second one we don't care about,
Indiana.
Don't care. 69-28.
Well, we care for the Senate.
We care for the Senate.
Well,
69-28. New Hampshire, again.
This is important.
This is an important one. Less than 1%. I'm sorry. That one actually not less than 1%. That 1%. 1% of the precincts, 53-41, Donald Trump.
Uh-oh.
Disaster.
Okay, the mood has immediately changed. Okay, so I told you. Okay, it's just 1%. Don't panic yet. Don't panic yet. Don't panic yet.
Let me see if I can get an
keep
actual
saying
hard
to myself.
count of votes. Oh, you know what, dude? It's remove the panic.
Okay.
It's the leftover votes from Dixville Notch.
Oh. But didn't she win Dixville Notch?
No, Trump won it 32-25, so it's meaningless. 32-25.
Dixville Notch. Go fuck yourself.
You know what?
Yeah, you know
because
what?
I was going to be. I
didn't
think they'd close. Trump is ahead 13,000, basically 13,000 to 4,000 in Indiana, which is and 10,000 to 4,000 in Kentucky.
Okay, as you know, limited early results.
Yeah.
And we kid around, but you know, I've talked about this on the show a million times. I love Kentucky. I've been there many times. And there's a lovely chocolate factory, a chocolate museum that I visited in Indiana. So I love this country. Let's just get less the red. Okay?
And Kentucky, for me, top 4 Commonwealth.
Okay,
all right, let's do the stories. All right, let's do the first one. This one's really fun.
I don't even remember what they're about now.
Okay. I think they're about the election.
Okay, then let's talk about the election. Nobody respects women more than Donald Trump, but even Donald Trump has limits, and the limit is the door to where you vote. And so he was spying on his wife's ballot this morning. Let's take a look at video 10.
Distance, are you okay?
Gotta love the slow-mo from JR.
There's nothing I like more than J.R. Jackson's slow-mo videos.
The only thing I like more is the SpongeBob SquarePants.
Can we do you mind if you re-rack that video show one more time? Because I saw something interesting in it.
Yeah, here's my take on what I saw interesting, and then we'll take a look at it. I think he does the fake looking over at her, like I'm just looking at her, not a big deal, and then does the look down for a second and comes back on. Look, as a guy, I've done looks, okay? So you can tell he wanted to look at her paper, right? Yeah. But he was pretending to look at her before he dipped down. So here it is again.
So that one's fine. That's innocent, I think. It's so fast.
I think that it's hard to, it's really, first of all, I just think what's interesting is that in this incredibly competitive election, in New York, there's something called the dance party. Yeah. It's competitive.
His shoulder, that's hilarious.
He might have just been looking to see if she's done. That's what it occurred to.
Maybe.
Not buying it. There was a little dip of the eyes there.
But again, as I suggested, and I tweeted earlier today to Ann Coulter, I'm sure she's going to respond to me soon. I think if only Trump's family gets to vote, he wins. He's elected president 4-2. Yeah. Tiffany and Melania.
So since this
they go the other way. Yeah.
Since this is an important topic, let's dive into it a little bit more, and then we're going to give you some great tweets on it. Okay. So what's the theory? There's a couple possible things. Is she voting for me? Make sure. Mm-hmm. The other is he went in there unprepared because he goes into everything unprepared. Yeah. Remember, it's not just the presidential election. There's a lot of things you vote on in every state. And I watched the whole 2-minute video, and before he does the look over, he's like,
oh, shit, ballot.
You think he knows the ballot
He doesn't know, and of course he didn't ask, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, he's screwed because if he's copying off of Melania, he's just getting Michelle Obama's results anyway.
That was one of the tweets too. That's right.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. So you're thinking that's good. I like it. I like it. So what do you think? Is he checking to make sure that she's not voting for Hillary Clinton or cheating off of her?
I think he just doesn't know what to do. I think my hunch is he's never been to a polling station in his life. He's never voted. He doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know how to make the tabs fit in the hooks.
Voted.
He doesn't vote.
Voted.
Of course he doesn't.
I think it's separate. I don't think it's either of those. I don't think it's like he really thinks she's not going to vote for him. I think that this is just a symptom of the fact that he watches her every step, I bet he is constantly worried that she's going to cheat on him for a far better looking average man. Like a far more virile anybody else in the country. And so he probably watches her constantly. That's the problem. When you choose someone who's way out of your league, you're just plagued by fear and insecurity. And so he's checking in on her all the time.
And it's also the conservative projection. Since he's constantly cheating on her, as we found out through all those stories, he assumes, well, she must be doing likewise. I got to keep checking in on her. I got to keep checking in on her.
You know, they say that is the hell you create when you're a liar is that you now can't trust anybody else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, welcome to Donald Trump's world. So I like that we have a lot of different theories on it. we couldn't settle it because everybody's got a different theory. But I think he was cheating. He was like, shit, what did she write? What did she write? I don't know what to write for these things. Is anybody going to find these things out, or can I draw a cartoon here?
So what do you do?
He probably doesn't even know if it's secret.
Are any of these judges Muslim?
Or Mexican. He doesn't like those. All right, so let's go to the tweets, which are funny.
Okay, this text is way too small for me to read, so if we could just bring it up. You're going to see this graphic 76, by the way. I know that we're hopping around. When you didn't open your textbook once the entire semester, but you know this test is the only thing that counts towards your final grade.
Funny. Good for BuzzFeed.
Wow, they get a lot of retweets. Okay, we can jump ahead.
Wow, they do get a lot of retweets.
Who am I supposed to vote for? Harambe. No, really. Smod? I don't know Smod. Whoever did this tweet is more tuned into popular culture than me.
Okay.
I think you're supposed to read them out loud, John. That's how
You want me to read all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Trump panicked and had to copy Melania's ballot. Now both are voting for Hillary.
Let me see who tweeted that. That's from Daddy's Little Cycle.
Okay, good for him.
Melania didn't even vote.
Trump.
She just scrolled, help me.
Come on, that's great. That's great. Pour me coffee. Nice job for the win.
See, the problem with real Donald Trump copying Melania's ballot is that Melania copied it from Michelle Obama. There you go. Good job. Oh, he got way more retweets than I would have. Well, she's an immigrant. That's true. He's just doing the hard work of poll watching, okay? Remember, election laws require us to respect the privacy of others. Yeah, they're married, so it doesn't matter, but you totally can't look. You can't look.
No, but it does matter. So that one was serious.
Hold on, stay on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought this was photoshopped at first, but apparently it's authentic. The Sun did it too.
No way!
Yeah, that's Eric, right? That's Eric Trump.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No kidding.
He also doesn't know what's on the ballot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're all Trumps. They never prepare. So they're like, I don't know, Daddy gave me all the money. What the hell did I have to prepare for? I came out of the womb and I had up $200 million, right?
Yeah. Congress? What's Congress?
He's like, well, hey,
Yeah.
what is this?
Right.
I see Dad's name, but then what are all these other names?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they expect that they'll just be handed like a white supremacist ballot, and they turn that in like Twitter, where they can just retweet bullshit all day long. No, you have to actually come up with something for yourself on Election Day.
Now, technically, I know nobody cares about this, but technically it is breaking the law to look at anyone else's vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so
voter fraud.
lock him up.
Voter fraud.
Lock him up. Could you imagine if Hillary Clinton arrests him for this after she wins? And she's like, wait, what was that chant again?
I have these fantasies of, a non-politicized FBI finding out that, like, Donald Trump's ties to Russia or even Trump University, that somehow something actually criminal happened. And after all this locking up, that actually Donald Trump were arrested sometime in November of next year.
By the way, his strategy is not that dumb in this case. He actually has a number of legal violations that are real, like whether it's the abuse of the charity, which is super real, abuse of campaign finance laws where he was accepting donor money, and the list goes on and on. But since he did all the lock her up stuff, it'll seem like it was retribution if she locks him up.
He apparently violated the embargo in Cuba.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on and on, right? The only guy who might have the balls to do it is Schneiderman in New York. He might be like,
yes,
yeah, you want to call it political, call it whatever you like. This guy broke the law. I'm coming for him.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. We'll see. So your fantasy might not be that far off. Okay. I have an update before we move on to the next story. We've already broken 50,000.
Yay!
Damn! Can I see 100,000? 100 of these caps coming out to rent. If you share, by the way, what we're going to do afterwards on how we decide who's getting the caps is whoever shared. We're going to go through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and look at who shared because we can do that. We have technology here. Okay, and then among the people who shared, we're going to give you 100 caps.
Yeah,
okay?
and be a power sharer. Share the stream directly, not just with your own followers, but directly at Libby celebrities so that they can share it. There's a lot of Lib celebrities like Young Turks.
Yeah, that's true.
Remind them we're streaming.
All right, hit the Lib celebrities. All right, and you know what? If encourage people to do this while you're watching the Young Turks today. You know, you can carry us with you if you're going somewhere. You can watch us on your phone. All right, what's next, John?
Next is actually the GOP insiders that I think you're going to present.
Oh yes, I'm going to present that.
Here, you can take this if you want.
All right, that sounds good.
This is a looser show than normal.
Okay, yes, we prepared this in a hurry. All right, get off my ass. Okay, Donald Trump over here. Okay, all right, Eric Trump, looking in on my ballots. Okay, this story is about GOP insiders who now realize Trump's an idiot. I love this story. They're like, wait a minute, it turns out he didn't do any preparations for getting out the vote. Yeah, and that's what we told you. Okay, I mean, how are you surprised by this? He said after Iowa, that's the first caucus, it's so important, it's so important. He said on TV with no sense of shame that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Like, I don't know what get out the vote was. What's get out the vote? I didn't know that. Yeah, it's in the title. You get out the vote so they can't go out and vote for you, right? He doesn't know one thing about this. He didn't bother preparing, even though he's running for the most important office in the country. So we told you all along his incompetence is what's going to do him in. And it turns out now the Republican Party's like, what the hell? The guy's incompetent. He didn't even prepare anything for it to drive his voters out to the polls. So here's a quote from the Examiner. The improvements, and it's a Republican strategist that they're quoting, the improvements the RNC made are good ones, he said, but I don't think anyone there thought that the entire ground operation would be dumped on them, and dumped on them pretty late in the election. This will be Trump's legacy. He thought he could rewrite the basics of a campaign. Yeah. No, but see, there's one thing wrong in that quote, though. No, this isn't some sort of like alternate strategy that Trump is using, like some sort of third-dimensional chess with a Jedi mind trick thrown in. No, he just didn't bother doing it. Because that's his whole life. His daddy gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's been fumbling it ever since. Why do you think he went bankrupt 6 times? Yeah. Why do you think he built 3 casinos in Atlantic City at the same time, even though everyone said, hey, knucklehead, you're going to cannibalize your other casinos, and all of them went bankrupt? Because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he never prepares. There wasn't a strategy. He's just like, man, getting out the vote in a ground game, I don't know what that is. I don't want to. Anybody want to figure that out? I don't want to figure it out. Yeah. And one other thing that's really important, his ego blocks him from asking questions. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't know what a ground game is, he can't ask because he's Mr. Trump and he knows everything. So if he says, hey guys, what's a ground game? He looks like an idiot, right? Yeah. So he doesn't ask.
He surrounds himself with advisors who are chosen primarily because they agree with him, they don't question him, and not because they have particular expertise.
That's right. They're like, oh, yes, Donald. Yes, Donald, you don't need a ground game. Ground game's for losers.
I mean, Corey Lewandowski. I mean, that guy, again, he's the kid from the wrong fraternity in Animal House, And he hires him, and he becomes a top advisor. Still is clearly a top advisor. And Corey Lewandowski had the audacity this week to tweet that Katie Tur got a book deal, and he said that Katie Tur just used her job to get a book deal.
Oh, you used your job to get a CNN deal.
I mean, it's the most. Yeah, and I just thought, no, she did her job and got a book deal. Like, that's a significant difference. Yeah.
Now,
but of course, he didn't even. I mean, but to not see the irony in that you used your job to get a job on CNN, but it just doesn't occur to these guys.
Now, I have done a little bit of research, and apparently the RNC's get out the vote effort has been strong, like stronger than in the past. I saw stats. I'm probably going to get them all wrong because I don't check anything. But in New Hampshire, they announced that they had knocked on 2 million doors. And apparently there are only about 600,000 doors in New Hampshire, which actually supposedly means that they've knocked on every door multiple times. So I apologize to the people in New Hampshire. It must be hell for you. These people are going to your
they would actually go inside the house and knock on bathroom doors, living room doors.
Bedroom doors, yeah.
Just knock on any door.
Yeah, so that'll help mitigate to some
Jimmy
extent.
door, they knocked on. The Morning Consult Politico exit poll today found that 62% of Americans said they were not contacted by either campaign, but 17% said they were contacted by the Clinton campaign, 8% said they were contacted by the Trump campaign.
That's a big gap.
17 and 8. So more than twice.
More than double.
Yeah.
So, and there you have it.
Which, by the way, is heavily focused on just a few states, which means a bigger percentage in each
9% by
state.
both, so it's 26 for Clinton, 17 for Trump. Still a significant advantage.
Yeah. So about 150% rather than 200%. And by the way, this is from the Washington Examiner, and David Drucker, the writer. The Washington Examiner is more of a conservative publication. So this is not a bunch of liberals just saying, "Ha ha, Trump." No, this is conservatives waking up and smelling the coffee and go, "Oh, right, our candidate was a moron who didn't work hard enough to get this thing done," because they want him to win, right?
Yeah.
And they thought, "Oh, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump." No, there's no Mr. Trump. And so the reality is now conservatives acknowledging what we've been saying all along. Oops. Yes, while the RNC did work hard, see, we don't like the RNC either. We got no love for them. But they at least do their jobs, and they worked hard. But the Trump team totally dropped the ball, and I like the part where they say, and it got dumped on them late. Like, they thought Trump must be doing something behind the scenes that we're not seeing.
He's spending so much money.
Right. No, he wasn't doing anything behind the scenes because he's a knucklehead and a loser.
Yeah. Yeah, he tried to get a peek at Hillary Clinton's ground game, but she put her arm in front of it, so you couldn't see it.
Yeah, it was, what's the ground game?
Moving on?
Okay, yep.
Okay.
All right, back on the Young Turks election night coverage. Are you kidding me? We're halfway through. I feel like we just started. Polls have closed. Polls are closed. Panic time. Okay. All right, first I got to tell you how you can watch, and then I'm going to tell you about the polls that have closed. And then we have a shooting, okay, at a polling station. So lots of dramatic news.
Near a polling
Near a polling station. Okay. Members, you can check out the simultaneous coverage happening just for you guys. We've got this stream, and then we've got a second stream. And, of course, to join is tytnetwork.com/join. But then once you're there, tytnetwork.com/members-live. Okay? That's how you watch the second stream. You could double stream here. Just don't cross them. You can check out the schedule for this, and I believe for the members-only stream as well, at tytnetwork.com/members schedule. Yes, that's got the annoying 2 S's in the middle. Members schedule, okay? And it includes member interaction with Dave Kohler, Gigi Manoukian, quizzes with party guests about the primary. We just had Brian Ungertaker, Ida Rodriguez there. They did a great segment. There's a poster giveaway about Dapple. And if you're not a member, remember, tytnetwork.com/join. Okay, here are your poll closings. I'll show you the poster you could win in a second, which is great. Georgia just closed. Sorry, Georgia's done. It's done. Oh, my God. Who's going to win Georgia? Trump. Indiana. It's closed. It's closed. It's done. It's done. I'm sorry. It's done. They're kicking you out. They're kicking you out of the polling stations. Indiana's closed. Who's going to win it? Trump. But these are not called yet, by the way. I'll tell you when it's officially called. But we do have a Senate race there where Evan Bayh bungled it away, and he will likely lose, but it's not 100% set. Kentucky closed. They're kicking you out. They're kicking you out. Please clap. And
please clap.
Trump. Oh my God, Trump's got such a huge lead. He's going to win the first 3 states. Oh my God. South Carolina closed. First 4 states go to Trump. Jesus, Lord mercy. They're not called yet. They're not called yet. Just calm down. Okay, I'm telling you to calm down as I'm screaming. Here we go. The great state of Vermont is just closed. We're gonna bring Vermont home. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring it home. And Virginia. Okay. Now, all kidding aside, the one state that is super relevant and we will keep you updated on throughout this hour is Virginia. So the rest are solidly red, or in the case of Vermont, solidly blue. Virginia is one of the critical swing states. I don't have it in my top 6 because I thought Hillary Clinton's lead was sizable enough in Virginia that she was going to win it. But she must. If she loses Virginia, oh boy.
You'll notice Virginia's...
You go to the board. Go to the board.
You'll notice Virginia's placement on this map. First of all, can we widen out this shot slightly? Or I'll hold it up, but that's a little awkward. Virginia, you'll notice they're in the black in the middle. We're officially calling it a swing state, but we're being generous with our swing state terms because we want dramatic moments.
Okay, we're being honest about it. We're being honest.
But obviously, a Trump win in Virginia, devastating.
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic. As would a Trump win in Pennsylvania. We'll check to see if any of those states have been called. We'll have that information for you as soon as we can.
Yes. So the minute we have information from any of the news sources, we will scream. Okay. So it'll be subtle. The way we'll tell you is, oh my God, results are in Virginia. Okay. So that's now in 7:30. We've got poll closing times in North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia. North Carolina, Ohio, also swing states. Trump likely to win Ohio, but it's certainly not certain. Certainly not certain is a great term. And then North Carolina is actually in more dispute than Ohio is. So if Hillary Clinton wins North Carolina, it's over. It's over. Pack up. I mean, keep watching for the next 6 hours. But, okay.
We have 3 states called.
They're called. We have calls. Go.
The state of Indiana.
Called.
11 electoral votes. Donald Trump.
He's winning 11-0. We're done for.
Trump from the outside scores. From the Commonwealth of Kentucky, he's got a 19-0 lead.
Well, you said Commonwealth, and you said from the outside for a second. I panicked that it was Virginia.
Or Pennsylvania.
I know, but Pennsylvania hasn't closed it.
So 19-0. But the comeback has already begun.
Oh, my God.
A 3-pointer from Burlington, Vermont, buried for Hillary Clinton. She's on the board. It's 19-3.
The home of Bernie Sanders. Does Bernie deliver? Always. Always. But right now, guys, it is panic time. We're losing 19-3. 19-3. Trump takes the early lead. But is that Clinton from behind? Here comes Hillary Clinton. I will say for the rest of the night until she takes the lead momentarily. She won't at the 7 o'clock hour.
No.
In the 7 o'clock hour, you can add Virginia to that list, we hope, but he will have the lead going into 7:30. He'll maintain the lead through 7:30. 8 o'clock is when we start yelling, here comes Hillary, although the first state on the board there is Alabama.
I have an unusual request that I don't think ever made on the air. I think I left my blue magic marker outside on the main bar. If somebody could grab my blue magic marker, that would be great.
Yes. Okay. we will effort that immediately. Okay.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the red-blue map originally made its appearance in 1976 on ABC, and it was actually switched. They had the blue was for the Republicans,
is that right?
And red was for the Democrats, and they based it off the Tories and the Labour Party in England. This is, I'm pretty sure all this is true.
So Jimmy laying down a lot of history lately. You know, after the post game yesterday, which a lot of people, a lot of the members really loved, which was great. So that was me, Ben, and Jimmy arguing a little bit. But I went back and checked out your Malcolm X clip on the Jimmy Dore show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was great. It was great about the fox and the wolf that you talked about in the second hour of today as well. So yeah, no, Malcolm X, kind of a bright guy. But you know, there was an irony built into that, and then we'll get to the shooting. Is that he talked about how Lyndon Johnson is the fox, and they present you Barry Goldwater, who's the wolf, to scare you into voting for the fox, right? But you know, him and Martin Luther King, they also played that game. Okay, now it was for the right reasons, and it was not a fox as in a bad thing, right? But Malcolm X was the wolf, so you went, oh, Martin Luther King, I'll take Martin Luther King.
Oh,
okay.
I see what you're saying.
Do you see what I'm saying? And
yes.
so Malcolm X was...
You take the nice or non-violent black guy or the violent, scary black guy?
Yeah, so Malcolm X was even smarter than people realize because he was completely familiar with that concept, and he was actually playing three-dimensional chess.
Was he really doing that? Like, we know he was playing that game?
Look, that's my reading of it. I've read his autobiography. I've read a lot about Malcolm X. I'm not a scholar on it, obviously. It's not, I'm not like John Iadarola, who almost got a PhD. I mean, I'm still working on it, Jimmy.
He's working on it.
Yeah, and so,
you guys are the worst. I love the attacks on people in the company who aren't on the panel to defend themselves.
Sorry, Johnny Ty. Okay. Anyways, we were too nice to him earlier. We got to make up for it. But Yeah, so that's an interesting strategy, and one Malcolm X deployed as he was talking about it. So fascinating stuff. Okay, all right, the shooting.
All right, so we have a lot of election-related news, but something pretty terrible happened near a polling place in Azusa, California. There are early reports of an active shooter in Azusa, California. Now, as we report on this story, unfortunately, there are very few details as to whether or not police have this person in custody, but they did describe him as a bald, heavy white male who was heavily armed. Multiple people were shot and injured. We know that one person is dead, but it's uncertain as to whether or not the person who was killed was the shooter or if it was a victim. Now, this happened near a polling station. There were two polling places in the area, actually, the Memorial Park North Recreation Center and Dalton Elementary School. Both of those places were impacted by the shooting. People were forced to stay indoors and they were locked down. Also, Slauson Middle School, which was near the location of the police activity, was also placed on lockdown. We have this, image, actually we have a video of these kids. They're in school, they're sitting on the ground. I mean, it's a scary situation. Let's take a quick look at that. So there they are, they're in lockdown, and apparently the teachers and administrators didn't want to tell them what was going on, but they're afraid, they're afraid that something's going to happen to the kids. Apparently, at the polling station, people were told, well, you're not allowed to leave, you're on lockdown because there's an active shooter. But if you want to continue voting, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Well, I would have kept voting because maybe that could solve it. But so here's the situation. I don't know that it has anything to do with the election because remember, there is a mass shooting on average more than once a day in America. That's where 4 people get shot. Depending on your definition, you can either get shot or get killed. And so last year it was more than 1 per day. Mm-hmm. So on election day, on average, you would have one. And there's a lot of polling stations across the country, so you might have one near a polling station.
Yeah.
And in this case, I don't even know that it's even technically qualifies as a mass shooter. It's just an active shooter.
It's an active shooter. Again, we don't know much about this story because police aren't speaking yet. We don't know if this guy's in custody. We know that, the area that the shooting took place is completely shut down. People can't get in, they can't get out. And it's scary. It's also really interesting because right now California voters are voting on a proposition that would lead to background checks. If it's passed, it would lead to background checks for those who try to get high-capacity magazines. And so, again, I don't know if this guy had a political agenda. I don't know if he was trying to make a point. He's obviously crazy. But the important thing is that, they get this guy in custody and he doesn't cause any more damage or harm.
Well, look, I'm going to keep it real here. You know that he's described as white, so they'll say, I will never know why he did it.
He's a lone wolf, Cenk.
He's a lone wolf.
This guy, you can't figure it out. He was disgruntled, I bet you.
Right.
Nothing to do with religion.
Yeah. If we had a Muslim shooting somewhere in the middle of the election, ISIS is trying to disrupt elections, right? Now, if we have a right-winger, and we don't know that at all, and like I told you, we don't know if he's even got anything to do with elections. It might just be a random shooter. So we have but if it turns out it's in that direction, that's no big deal. That's not a story, right? He's not trying to disrupt the elections. He's just an American, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of local news reports about this. There isn't very much national coverage, and I'm guessing it's because of the election. And it's scary to know that someone can go out there and, be heavily armed, open fire, possibly kill people, and it gets no national coverage. So we'll see.
And even so, look, since it's election day, I actually think it's more likely to get coverage, right? But they'll drop it like a rock if it's a right-winger. Like they usually cover it for a day, and they're like, oh, look at this. In Kansas, a right-winger executes 2 cops. And then we're done with it, right? But if it's a black guy and it's in Dallas or Louisiana, weeks and months of coverage, right? Because there's an agenda to be driven. When it's a right-winger, there's no agenda. We move forward, right?
Yeah. Can I also make a point about gun control? So we talk about gun control. We vary in terms of how much gun control we want. I would argue that I'm in favor of, not banning guns. I just want simple things like background checks, whatever. But here's the thing. California has some of the more restrictive laws in place when it comes to gun control, but it's not enough. You can't leave it to the states because we are one country, and it's the easiest thing in the world to go to a different state, get your hands on as many guns as you want, bring them into your state. You see what I'm saying? So California passing this proposition of background checks for high-capacity magazines is nice, but I don't think it's going to do anything. We need something on a federal level.
I agree with that, but it's a good first step. I view this ballot initiative in California as pretty much the Chris Rock strategy, right? If we can't get more stringent checks on guns, well, let's put them on bullets. And so, Chris Rock has that joke about make the bullets worth $1,000 and we'll have gun control. And so that's kind of what. So I was like, hey, I love it. I want gun control.
Yeah.
So if that's the way we get around checking to make sure we don't have mentally ill people and terrorists and et cetera, all these, or people who've been proven to be violent and have a history of violence, et cetera, checking on them to make sure they're not buying tons and tons of ammunition, great. Doesn't mean you can't buy ammunition, okay? It just means, hey, let's do a sanity check before you buy it.
Right.
It's literally the least we can do.
What if I'm insane and I like to shoot for sport?
Well,
then you're taking away my constitutional right just because I'm insane.
Look,
that happens sometimes.
That's tyranny.
Yeah.
Or sanity, right?
I don't know. I know people who do. Look, Jordan, who is a viewer of the show, part of my family now, like someone that I really care about. He lives in Arkansas and he loves to go hunting. And he not only hunts for sport, he literally hunts for food, right? And like saves deer meat for I don't know how long in his freezer. And it's delicious, by the way. But nonetheless, like I don't want him to have his guns taken away, but I do want common sense gun legislation that doesn't lead to a country where everyone is swimming in guns, where there's more guns per capita than any other country in the world.
I want to take away assault rifles and handguns. I do.
Yeah.
I would like to take away assault rifles and handguns, but leave guys who want to hunt with a shotgun or whatever, fine.
Rifle? Give them a rifle.
Go ahead, have a rifle.
Have 5. Don't care.
Yeah.
I'd go further. So, look, I had a friend in college that educated me about this because I didn't know about it, right? Because I grew up in a suburb. We shopped for bagels. Okay, that's what we did.
I grew up in the city. We steal bagels.
So there was no, the hunt was on for good cream cheese and lox. But a friend of mine was from Texas, and so
just took too long.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it didn't work quite. Anyway, he was from Texas, and they were poor, and he would hunt for rabbit, and then they would eat it because that's what they needed, right? I get that. Look, we're killing each other at a record rate, and we do it with weapons, and it becomes much more efficient to kill your family, your loved ones, etc. So I would have, you could own a gun, and it's in a locker somewhere where it's super safe, and then when you want to go hunt, you drive to that locker for 5 minutes because there's no emergency, right? And you go and you get your gun, and you go and get your rabbits, etc., deer, yada yada, and then you bring it back and put it in that safe locker. So that way your kids don't die unnecessarily. Now, I'm never going to win this. I know that. Like in this country, it's too late. There's 250 million guns out there. We're never going to get them all back, right? So, but that's my position.
Yeah. I mean, right. We would lose apparently an election because when they say about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, they're coming to take your guns. They're just lying.
They are.
They're not only stirring up the paranoia of those who will vote based on that issue, but they're also driving up gun sales. It's because the sense of, buy your guns now because they're coming to get them. I would come to get them.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. And funny enough, though,
not all of them. Again, the rifles and the long guns and the shotguns.
I'd get the rifles too, but I'll tell you what, though, under that scenario, I might own a weapon. Like it might be cool to have a rifle as long as it's not in the house. That I can go get, and then we go and maybe we shoot it for fun, right?
But imagine this, Cenk. It's 2 a.m. You're sleeping in bed, okay? You're with your wife, and then all of a sudden you hear someone breaking into the house. What are you going to do to protect yourself? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, that actually happened.
I wake up and I
actually did happen.
That's right. Yeah.
It did happen. I forget about that.
What are you going to do, Cenk?
We did not murder the guy, and he's okay, and we're okay.
So let me give you a couple.
You're a cuck.
Let me give you a couple updates because I'm following the results here and I'm so paranoid.